Yesterday I said I was really looking forward to coming. And I miss this place. I have good memories, and Richard Twist and I were very good friends. And I told Vicki on the way down, I said, it'd be different with him not here. But walking through every part of this grounds and the dining, and just seemed to sense his presence. And so that's the kind of relationship I had with Richard. I'm excited to share some things with you. They asked me, what would you like to share, given the opportunity? I said, usually some places where I go to, they give me, can you talk about this and this and that? And I said, okay. And so he said, it's pretty well open. He said, yeah, there's some things I'd like to share. Given the opportunity, and so I want to share those with you. Just one item that I feel very, very close to my heart and to some of us here. Looking around the room, I think all of us in this room feel the same way. And the exciting thing about what I'm going to share is that for the most part, I'm not saying we're the only group this day and age. I'm talking specifically about the native church, the native fellowship, the native believers, the native, whatever you want to call them. All of us have come from a transformation. So I assume that we're all born-again Christians, so I don't need to go there. But there was a transformation that took place for some of us, maybe a few months, a few years, maybe some decades for some of us. And it was this whole thing about culture and the song and the dance. And to this day, I still have those questions being asked to me. What about the drum? What about powwows? What about this? And so I'm happy to share. I know who I am, and I'm very happy and content how the Creator has put us together in a good way. All of us went through some things in our lives, and it hindered some of our growth, and not necessarily the other people out there. No, that's not where I want to go and blame people. But I think it's where I struggled personally. And if an elder's honest, those things will come up in a good way. We like to hide things. I'm speaking for myself. We like to hide things. But there is a God that knows everything. Mm-hmm. Take off my head. He knows everything through me, what I've done in the past, and so forth. And one of our young ladies in our area came up to me some time ago and said to me, "What I like about you, you just say it." I said, "Yeah." He said, you don't care what people would think of you. I said, don't matter to me. They can think whatever they want to think. It's entirely up to them. I said, however, there was once upon a time, I was very protective what came out of here. Because I was afraid what all of you would think of me. And then all of a sudden I said, the heck with it. I'm going to bed. I'm going to sleep, and you guys can think whatever you want to think about me, so what? If I could use the word in a good way, I don't care. As long as the Creator is happy with me, I'm happy with myself.
Yes.
And if I'm all alone, yeah! I'm okay with that. Someone said to my wife last night, and that's not the first time, said, 51 years, how did you do it for 51? He said, Vincent makes me laugh.
Oh, good. That's a beautiful thing.
Makes me laugh 10 times a day or more. Oh, good. With these people here, if they're honest in this room, there's about 85% of them that cannot hear. So I gotta use this. You ever been to a room and you couldn't hear the speaker? And then the speaker would say, can anybody hear me? Nobody raises their hand. Okay, oh. And I didn't want to raise my hand. I didn't want to be the only one. So I'm glad these things help us.
Yes. Yes.
And I do powwow MCing. I speak a lot. And my grandkids tell me, Papa, why don't you go to work? Our neighbors, they drive to work every morning, come home. I said, yeah, I go to work. I said, well, what kind of work do you do? I said, my mouth gets me to work. And a lot of the stuff I do is speak. Oh, so that's why you're on Zoom. I said, yeah, I'm on Zoom. And I was supposed to be on Zoom 5 o'clock this morning. No, wait a minute. 5 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. So
That would have been
4 o'clock.
4 o'clock. Yeah.
I woke up at 6.
So you don't get paid for that job.
Took a time.
So there's close to 200 men, just men. We get up at 5, meaning my time, 5 a.m., and I pray with these guys every single Friday morning.
beautiful.
Find a group like that. Find a group like that. That you can, like, I don't have a home church because of, you guys are my church.
Yeah.
And then Friday morning, these guys are my church.
Yes.
And I pray with them, we talk about everything, and you think women's talk, men talk. So we have, so anyways, I'm going off the subject. My wife tells me, people that, well, you know what? That's part of maturity for me. I don't know what it is for you. I want to talk about elders today. The importance of an elder. You probably know all the scripture in the Bible, and so we're not going to go there. But it'd be nice if you study those and compared with your language group, with your group. And you know what? You will find out that a lot of it is similar to our language and our culture. There's a former chief that I led to the Lord. I told you guys I was in politics for a number of years. And I got to know this guy very well. And one day he said to me, he said, Vincent, can I talk to you? So we went in the back, there's a coffee room there. And he said, I just want to let you know I'm going through a lot and just need your prayers. And he said, there's nobody I can talk to. And when I got to know him later on, I found out, yeah, there was nobody else he could talk to. And he said to me, he said, there's nobody I can talk to, but I just feel comfortable with you. I want to. So he told me his struggles and challenges. And so one day he phoned me and he said, Vincent, can you come, please? I said, all right. So I went over to his house, nice, big, beautiful home. Him and his wife, nice home. And he was all alone. And he said, my wife left me this morning. He said, I'm crushed, I'm broken. So he shared a lot of stuff with me, and I just basically said to him, I don't know what to tell you because I really don't know. I said, but you are broken, but I know somebody that can put you back together in a good way. He said, who is it? I said, his name is Jesus. And I can introduce you to Jesus right now. He said, I want that. So I led him in a sinner's prayer. He accepted the Lord. So I called him the next morning, and then he said, you would never believe this. He said, when I went to sleep, it's just like when I closed the shutters in my windows, he said, my eyes just opened back up because I was so happy. I've never had peace in my heart. Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah.
When we lead people to Jesus, that is what it's all about.
Yeah.
That's, to me, that's the important thing. And he said to me, you're going to Oregon? I said, yeah. He said, what are you going to talk about? I said, I really don't know.
Elders.
Yeah. I said, they told me this and that, and I said, but I think I'm going to talk about one of the things is on the elders. He said, let me send you some stuff. Okay, here's what he sent me. An elder is a well-respected individual, recognized by their community for their deep knowledge of traditional culture, spirituality, and history, and for their ability to guide and mentor others. Elders are not defined solely by their age.
Right.
So in other words, you could be 50, you could be 30, or you could be like me, 100 years old. Not just by age. And then he goes on to say, but rather by the wisdom and teaching they embody and share. I like sharing. I like teaching. And we need to be good storytellers. When you look at the Bible and how Jesus taught, was it like a 3-point sermon, like you hear your pastors? It's stories. And so I share a lot of stories when I get up to speak. Wisdom, teaching, they embodied and share. They play vital roles in preserving and transmitting their culture knowledge. I'm happy to do that. I found my identity, which the Creator God gave me. And they play a vital role in preserving and transmitting culture knowledge, providing spiritual guidance, and fostering community well-being. And here's, I'm not going to read all of this, it's kind of repetitious. We're knowledge keepers. I went to a meeting when elders meeting in a word in Edmonton, and I told them, all the elders there, I said, I don't like the word keepers, knowledge keepers. I said, to me it sounds like we're keeping something. We don't want to share it. We're knowledge sharers. We want to give something here. I don't know whatever name they came up with, that I shared that at our meeting. We're spiritual leaders. We are spiritual leaders. And we're mentors and guides. I don't know how many times I've heard the word mentor in this last 2 days. Yesterday and this one. You're a mentor, you're a mentor. Not divided by age, we just talked about diverse roles. Respected and recognition. Respect. What is respect? What is respect? My son, those of you that know my son, owns several big Harley Davids. And he goes on these, what you call medicine wheel ride. You Google that, he's part of that. And he drove with us on his bike, he followed us. He said, Dad, you guys go first and I'll catch up with you guys. And we got him a room in Spokane, and then he went this week to Seattle to meet the medicine wheel riders. I forget how many, is it 150 or 200 of them? They're flying in, and then they rent motorcycles. I said, I didn't know that. Yeah. People rent motorcycles. You can even rent a plane, Dad, if you wanted to. Oh, I said. Then I have to look for a pilot. Well, let's not go there. Anyways, well, my son is involved with this murdered and missing First Nation ladies and men. That's what the ride is about. Those of you that know my son, how tall is he? He's about taller than Hulk Hogan. Big guy. And I said, son, where did you get your helmet for your motorbike? He said, you couldn't find them. You got to customize your But he's a gentle giant. When he gets up to speak, if he was here, he'll be bawling. What's in his heart about the ladies that are missing. So that's where he's at, and we pray for him. My wife and I support him 100%. He came back to the Lord, about 10 years ago or so. And he said to me, Dad, I'm coming back to the Lord. He said, don't tell me which church to go to because I know all the churches. He said, don't tell me which group to go to because I know all the groups. He said, but there's a group that I'm going to go to. I want to be a part of them. And they love Jesus. I said, son, we're going to support you. This is what I told Vicky. I said, Vicky, we're going to support Stephen 100%. Whatever he wants, let's support him. Let's back him up. And I said, you know what? It's better to support him than going to visit him in prison.
Yeah.
I want to support him.
Yeah.
When he came to the Lord, he said, Dad, I'm going to buy a tent. A gospel tent.
Wow.
Okay. And so he did. He can afford it. That were paying the help at the time. Dad, I'm going to invite all these people. So he's doing all that. So anyways, him and I were talking breakfast the other morning. He said, you guys just came for the pub and I said, yeah. And by that time, he came into the breakfast area, sat down with us. And I said, son, I was sitting there, and one day, I made over $200. I don't know how many blankets I got. I don't know how many good blankets I got. Towels. My nieces and my nephews sitting by me, they meet in their church back to the water. Is that what respect means? When people know you, what you contribute to your community. People will acknowledge you and appreciate your company. And these people that have come and gave me gifts of money and blankets, they're the same ones that will tell me to pray for me. Because they know I'm a pastor. And I'm not ashamed of the Lord Jesus Christ. They know who I am. And I'm a proud, I help people when it comes to our culture. Support them. I have a traditional daughter that lives in Saskatchewan. Her name is Monica Bear. Comes from Big River Reservation in Saskatchewan. And is it Big Bear or Big River? I think it's Big River. She had her special. A few years ago, my nieces said to me at our powwow, they said, Uncle, look at her, she's dancing. And I looked at her. That's all they had to say. That lady danced exactly the way my daughter danced. I said, I don't know who she is, but I'm going to find out. So I text Shirley Hill, some of you that go to Palo, so no, Shirley. She's from Harvester by Texas. Shirley, I said, can you come? So she came, and that lady danced. I said, do you know her? He said, yes, I know her. What's her name? He said, her name is Monica Beer. I said, can you tell her to come? I want to talk to her. Yes, I can do it. Went in the tribal was going on, hundreds of dancers. Was talking to her. Next thing, Monica comes. Sat down by me and said, you wanted to talk to me? And I said, yeah. I said, you dance like my daughter, my late daughter. Her name was Nicole. And she committed suicide. She was a champion jingle dress dancer. And my nieces saw you. You dance like her. I want to take you as my daughter. She gave me a hug. She knew what that meant. Became my daughter. So her and I, we say good night, love you, all that good stuff, like a daughter. Papa, a few months ago, he said, I'm having a special. I said, when is your special? Gave me the dates, and I said, man, I'm going to Oregon. I want to be a part of it. He said, it's okay. I sent her money. I support our culture. It's important. And she lost her dad and her mom. And so we've become very, very close because of that. My son was talking to me and he said, Dad, why do these people give you money and gifts? They just want to honor. They just want to bless you. They just want your respect in the community. How many of you know, he's from Texas, he's a fancy dancer. I forget his name.
Robert Soto.
What's that?
Robert Soto.
Yeah, bro, how many of you know him?
I know him.
Yeah. So I had him come to our reserve a few years ago, and I said, Robert, can you come? He said, I'll be glad to do it, so he came. And came, I think, a day before our powwow and stayed a day after, and got all ready for the powwow, camped there, the whole 9 yards. And when it was over, he said, I am just so, can't remember the exact words, I'm just so amazed how the people come out. How the people come. You need to be well respected. How does that happen? How does that happen? For me, it was a battle. I think I told you guys last night or this morning, you didn't want to be around me when I was a teenager. Wanted to stay away. As far as you can. But God did a wonderful thing in my life, changed my life, and I meant every bit of it. I will follow you. I will believe in you. One of my friends jokingly said to me, he said, 51 years, huh? Yeah. He said, did you ever get tempted? I said, temptation will never leave humans. But you get tempted. Jesus was tempted, but he never sinned. I said, here's what my wife said to me one time. I said, honey, I said, if I try to hide something from you, would you know? He said, oh yeah, I know you very well. I said, what if I was unfaithful to you? He said, I would know that in less than a second. When you walk in the door, you don't hide your feelings, you don't hide your feelings. It's written all over. You're caught. I know. And my friend Leroy, we were talking yesterday on the way over. I got him on speaker, and my wife and my granddaughter can hear him talk. And we were talking about some stuff and some confidential stuff that's been happening back home. And I said, you know what, Leroy, I said, I really don't want to talk about this because you don't need to be sharing this with me. He said, why? He said, because I got a big mouth.
Yeah.
He said, I know that. Jokingly, just letting him know there's just some things that you keep to yourself.
Yeah.
You know those things. That will help you. I don't have a lot of time. Here's what I'm going to share with you. I've known some toxic elders. And I don't want to go into that. You know who they are. You've worked with them. I want to spend a lot of time with that. I was a chief and I was a leader for many years. And there were elders that I looked up to, and they just I couldn't believe what I was hearing, what I was seeing. You need to be respected. What makes them toxic? You got to go back. All of us have gone through it. Somebody was talking to me at lunchtime, sharing with me about boarding school. You guys call it boarding school here in the States. We call it residential school in Canada. Some of the toxic behavior, yes, comes from that era. And some of our parents and our grandparents didn't do very well because they were stripped of the parenthood of raising us, raising our moms and our dads
Yeah.
in a good way.
Yeah.
So the parenthood. So the good things that we hear about the hunting and all that stuff was taken, was stripped.
The language.
In my story about residential school, I was taken away 5, 6 years old when they came in the car. And I ran back to my mom and I was crying. I said, I don't want to go with them. I was saying that in Blackfoot, I don't want to go with them. So they were talking, and then he said to me, son, Why do I have to go with it? Just a little kid.
Mm.
You don't put this responsibility on a little kid. And my mom said to me, like I just heard a minute ago, son, you're going to get me into trouble. The police are going to come. You love your mom. You can say many bad things about everybody and do crazy stuff, but you never say anything bad about my mom. I loved her. And little boy as I wasn't gonna hurt her. So I walked. Spent the next 9 years in residential school, where I was tortured, I was raped, punished. And what a BG puini kiinni tsipuksi naamnet kokista paitopiota kansta utsista pitäksi taknista ajuksi aamusta siis kanvata piksitä teipuiksi. I was tortured for speaking my language. I could blame the dysfunction. But I had to come to a realization in my heart that somebody can give me the strength. Alcoholism. When I left residential school, I went into drinking, just terrible, just about killed me. And then over 55 years ago, I changed my life. Gave my heart to Jesus. Good old Baptist people came and shared the gospel. Thank God for them.
Yeah.
Saved my life. So I went on a journey, a good journey, a wonderful journey. Wouldn't trade it for anything. I was excited about this and that, and I would repeat the stories, how we began our ministry and so forth. But I'll just narrow on this, our culture. I was told that it was sin to go to a pub.
Yeah.
I was told that you should go. And I asked the question, why? Why can't I? I said, it's me. I grew up with that. My brother set up a drum, they sang, we danced. Why? Well, you belong to him now. I know. But he gave us that. To make a long story short, I talked to many people in my own family, my own church, and missionaries that I know, and I talked to them about what was going on inside. And they said to me, you need to talk to some individuals. And one of them was Richard Twist. And so God finally met him, and we talked for a long time. And he said he had the same growing up in the faith, same way. But he asked those questions why, and he said there's nothing wrong with it. You don't know this until you personally go through that. always, and I said to Richard, I said, but you always feel peace. I said, if I stole something, I would feel bad. But when it came to my culture, I didn't feel bad.
Right,
I had peace.
right.
It was cool. I'm happy with it. And then this whole thing about should we go, it became heated, and then Richard Twist would say, we're going to a meeting. He said, but I don't want you to go. Don't go. I said, they're willing to pay for my airline ticket and go to these meetings. There's the what do they call them?
Contextual?
Non-contextual and the other group. Why would they spend money on that so they can watch somebody, two individuals, two groups fight?
Yeah.
I can't, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Richard said, Vincent, don't go.
Yeah.
Just stay home. We'll report to you. I said, I'll pray for you guys. So they went. And I love the man. When I got a call some years ago and somebody said to me, if I didn't, it's just new again, it's just new now. Vicky was here, she would tell me. Duck Cove. Do you know Duck Cove?
Yeah.
Duck Cove.
Alaska?
Yeah, he passed away. And Duck Cove, he was on, if you go in People's magazines, I think it is, he was chosen one of the top 20 influential men in America. I think the world, I think. So if you go into that magazine, it should pop up, Duck Cove. You just be obedient, just don't know what's going to happen to you. Just be obedient, God's going to take care of you. I get a call. And they said to me, where are you? I said, I'm going to Saskatchewan to a funeral. And he said, can you go to the airport, jump on a plane, we'll pay for it, fly to Vancouver. I said, why? He said, this guy wants to meet you. I said, can I go tomorrow morning? He said, okay, promise us tomorrow morning. So I went to Saskatchewan, went to the funeral, didn't stay for the feast, drove all the way back home because I left my hearing aids at home. So I got my hearing aid on, slept for a few minutes, went to the airport, got on the plane, got off the plane, they were waiting for me. They took me to part of the air. This guy came in a private jet. The guy that owned the private jet, he owns, is there Chick-fil-A? Or
Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, he's the guy that doesn't open on Sundays.
Right.
Yeah. That was his plane. So anyways, I meet him, and I said, who do you listen? I said jokingly, I hope you have a chicken sandwich. Gets that all the time. But the guy that wanted to meet me, his name was Duck Cole. He was flying Duck Cole around. And Duck Cole started asking me a bunch of questions. You know what? Him and I, we just clicked. We just clicked. like we were good friends. And he said to me, I'm going to send you to Washington, D.C. You ever been to the presidential prayer breakfast? I said, what is that? I said, where are you going? So I went a few times. Then he gives me a call one time and he said to me, he said, we know you're from Canada, but we're looking for some Native leaders in the States. Can you give me one or two? I said, yes, I got one guy. His name is Richard Twist.
Yep.
Can you make it happen? I said, yes. So I told Richard, this guy's looking for you. So we had a good relationship. Doug Cole and Richard Twist. And Richard Twist flew to Washington, D.C. to attend the presidential prayer breakfast. When you walked into the Westin Hotel, that's when he had his heart attack. Talking about the story, I got a big lump in my throat. Richard always says, we need good elders.
Yeah. Absolutely.
The reason I'm excited about this era is that all of us in this room, we are now the elders. We want to be good elders,
That's right.
knowledge keepers. If you don't know about your culture, ask.
Yep.
That's what I did. I'm out of time. I got 5 minutes. If you just give me 5 minutes, I'm looking at that clock. My stomach is growing. I'm hungry too. I was asked, well, before that, they said, we're going to go to an area just off our reserve, Major Fields called. There's going to be society leaders, ceremonial leaders, and the elders, traditional elders are going to be there. Who wants to go? I want to go because I want to learn.
Yeah.
Several of us raised our hand. Elders in the room raised our hand. I don't know beans about that. So I'm going to go. No, because I want to learn. So on that moment, they said, we'll meet at a certain spot and you can jump in with us and we'll take you to the place where we're going. I said, all right. So I get there. On my way over to the place, they said to me, Vincent, they all backed out. They're other commitments. I said, no way. And guess what?
What?
You're the storyteller. No way. Yes, you are. I said, okay. I got, thank God for the phones.
Throw it in the fire.
So I phoned 4, 5 different traditional, ceremonial, spiritual leaders, society leaders, and I asked them questions about Major Field. And I'll end this note. I'm very proud of our heritage. I learned that Major Field was very significant to Sitka. We had the Sundance. And one of the stories was that there was a lady, a young black lady, wanted to find a husband. And her parents said to him, go up to that place, lay down, go to sleep. And when you see things, when you hear things, talk to them. So she goes and lays down, and when she noticed this beautiful sky that opened up and when the sun went down, and there was a bright, really bright star, just bright. Morning came, she went back, and they said, what happened? Did you see? She said, I didn't see anybody. But she was expecting to see somebody. And her parents said to her, go back over there. Because she wanted to find a handsome guy. She was looking for me. I just thought I would show that. No, but she was looking for a husband. And so the parents said, go back over there and talk to that star you saw. Oh, I thought I was going to see somebody said, no, talk to that star. So he goes back, lays down, same place. No star. The bright star's gone. Where is it? And then she remembered what she was told. Talk to me. And he said, where are you? I'm here. And she got an answer from behind her. And all night she was taught of that land. See all these things. The roots, the river, the trees, everything that you need. You're sick, you need to eat, they're all here. Here's what you do. She was taught all these things. And then there's different things for ceremonial you could use. To this day, our people believe that's how Sundance became. Women are very sacred to us. Leaders in our tribe. And this holy lady went back and shared that. And I was told by the ceremonial leaders, it's an oral story. He said, over the years, people have changed it. And he said, but basically that's what it is. So if you come to my area, I'll be glad to take you over there and share that place with you. One of them said to me, he said, when you leave, go look for some black stones. They're really smooth. Black stones. He said, you'll find them there. So I had the kids and the adults go looking. They came back and said, to this day, you see the ceremonial leaders in their regalia with those, some of them in their pouch. But it's there. Why did I tell you that story? Because it's your turn to tell those stories. Don't be like what I hear all the time. I don't know. Go tell Jonathan. Go tell that. I don't know. The onus is on you to tell those stories
Yeah,
in a good way.
that's right.
When they hear from you, you become a respected elder, a knowledge keeper. God bless you, class. You can go.